Hey everyone, today I'm going to be going over what I think is one of Intacct's coolest features, and that is reclassifying posted journal entries. The reclassify feature basically allows you to go into a paid or partially paid bill or invoice, and you can make some minor changes, fix little errors, and add missing information or comments. Um, a lot of people hear about this feature and immediately wonder how that can be done while still adhering to, proper accounting and reporting rules. But rest assured, there are some limitations and certain things that can't be changed. For example, the reclassed entry must be from a period that's currently open. The totals and vendor or customer must remain unchanged, and any changes that are made are retained in history with a full audit trail. So, it's not just recklessly being able to go in and change anything and everything you want, but it is very convenient to be able to, fix minor errors here and there without having to entirely void out an entry and enter an entire new one. So we'll go into a few more of the reclass options and limitations here in just a minute. But first, I wanted to go over a few broad details about your system configuration and permissions that must be enabled to use the reclass feature. So first things first, in order to use the reclass feature, both your accounts payable and accounts receivable modules must be configured to enable reclassification. Um, in AP, it's got to be enabled for bills and adjustments, and then in AR for invoices and adjustments. And then each user or role, depending on how you have permissions set up, needs to have the proper permissions, which can be found under AP and AR. And under those permission screens, you'll find a reclassify checkbox on either the bills or invoices and adjustments rows. And so if you guys are unsure about having either of these set up, feel free to reach out to us and we would be more than happy to help you guys out with that. So to start out, we will do reclassifying a bill. And so as I touched on earlier, you can update most items on the bill, including the GL accounts and dimensions, but the things like the vendor dimension must match or at least be a child of the vendor in the transaction header. And again, you can't update amounts or payment dates. And another big thing is the transaction must be in an open period. So to reclassify a bill, we're going to go from our main menu drop down here to accounts payable, and then under the All tab, and then you can click on your bills list view. So this top bill here is a test bill that I set up and paid yesterday. So I'm going to click edit. Theoretically, though, you could click on any bill that says, paid or partially paid. So once you click on edit, up in here on the top right corner, you will see a button that says reclassify. So you click on that. And so here's kind of everything that you can update. I can change or edit the bill number or the reference number. So if there's a typo or if you wanted to add something or add a description or remove a description, you can do that. You can update the term. So, if you like to keep all those organized, you forgot to put due upon receipt or net 15, you can always add that. And then you can add or remove any attachments that go along with this bill. And you can change the due date if you want to, which obviously would change if you update the term. But one important thing, you can't change the posting date or, like I said earlier, the payment date up here at the top. And so then if you go down to the entries portion of the bill, you can click show details just to expand your view a little bit. And this is where I think it really comes in handy. So say you have a bill that you coded to meals and entertainment, but you come to realize that you would rather it be under travel, or it's supposed to be under travel, and maybe you just clicked the wrong GL account. You're welcome to go in and change that and update it. And then you can also change other dimensions. So if you need to change the location or department, for example, in this bill, you can go in and do that and say it was part of sales if you just wanted to. You can do all of this. And now down here, it does give you the option to change the vendor. But the good thing is if you pick something that's in no way related, so not a child of this current vendor that's up here at the transaction header level, this will error out when you try to post it. So odds are you probably won't really need to be changing a vendor. If you do have to completely change a vendor, then reclassification probably isn't the best option for that. That being said though, so once you have all this updated, and again, like I said, you also can't change the amount of the bill. So really just GL accounts and dimensions, and then like if you need to change the memo or something like that. So we'll change this to airline tickets, just for this example, so that kind of goes along with travel. So then once you have all that updated, all you got to do is go up here and click on post. And that will take you back to this bills list view screen. And you're pretty much good to go from there. One quick note is that there isn't necessarily like reclassifications aren't a one-time only thing. So, if you still needed to change something or decided maybe you finally got an attachment that you thought you had lost or you didn't think existed, you can come back in here and click reclassify again. If you still need to change the GL account, or say you forgot that this is a 1099 vendor, you can check the 1099 box and then post again, and you are still good to go. And so the only other quick note is that you can't reclassify bills if you created that bill through a like a quick payment or a manual payment. The system does not support that. So make sure that it's coming from the actual bills function. And so next we will do reclassifying an invoice. And it's a very similar process to what we just did, and the same set of rules generally apply. So, you can update most of the items on the invoice, including GL account and dimensions, but the customer dimension must still match or be a child of the customer in the transaction header. And you still can't update amounts or payment dates, and the transaction still has to be in an open period. So to reclassify an invoice, you're going to just go to accounts receivable this time and click under this All tab. You'll go to your invoices list view. And here's a test invoice that I created earlier today and partially paid, just to kind of show that as an example. So I'm going to click edit next to this. And still right up here, you can click reclassify once again. And so for this invoice, as you can see, since this invoice number was system generated, that is not something that we can that you can update when you're reclassifying, but you can add a reference number or description if you'd like to. And you can change the term and the due date again and attachments. And very similar process down here in the entries portion. You can change the GL account if you need to. So say this one was set up for revenue surveillance. Say we decide, you know what, maybe this belongs in revenue other. So you can update that. Again, you can't update the amounts. And say this should actually be probably in sales since it's an invoice. And say you need to update your location too. So we'll make that New York. And memo, we'll just say sales invoice. These are down here, still have the other options to update some of the other dimensions. So residential, retail, commercial for our channel, we can just say this one was retail maybe. And then customer down here, again, this is another one of those things that you can't change. It'll error out unless it is a child of this transaction header customer. And so once you have all of this updated to everything you need, you just hide details again and click on post. Oh, just kidding. See, so this is an error, and it explains that the customer that I had listed is restricted by channel and department. So what happened was it is not set up to one of these. Maybe it's the channel. And so we'll just update that back and post again. There we go. That's what that was. And so again, these are not a one-time only thing. So if I needed to go back in and reclassify, I can more than certainly do that. And yeah, once you Once you get out of that and click Post, you are good to go. And that is how the reclass feature works on bills and invoices.